All right, let's talk about a company that's become way more than just another tech giant. It's basically the engine behind the entire artificial intelligence revolution. Yep, we are talking about NVIDIA, and we're going to break down exactly how they pulled this off.
$5 trillion. I mean, just let that number sink in for a second. In late 2025, NVIDIA actually became the first company in history to blow past a $5 trillion market cap. To put that into perspective for you, that's more than the entire GDP of countries like Japan or India. This isn't just growth, folks. This is a straight-up meteoric rise that has completely reshaped the market.
So that brings us to the big question, right? The one we're here to answer. How in the world did a company known for making graphics cards for PC gamers manage to become the single most important hardware company for the age of AI? Well, the answer is a fascinating story of vision, some incredible tech, and, let's just say, a very unique way of leading.
Okay, so to really get where NVIDIA is going, we first have to understand where it's been. This journey from a little startup to a multi-trillion-dollar monster, yeah, that didn't happen overnight.
So they started way back in 1993, but their huge breakthrough was in 1999, when they invented the GPU, the graphics processing unit, which totally changed PC gaming forever. But here's the crucial part, the pivot that changed everything. Years and years ago, the company made this massive bet that these GPUs, which were designed for making games look pretty, would also be perfect for the kind of math needed for AI. And boy, did that bet pay off in the 2020s. It paid off spectacularly, leading to the insane valuation we see today.
So, how did that bet pay off? Well, it all comes down to the technology. And at the heart of NVIDIA's dominance right now is their latest architecture, codenamed Blackwell. And you gotta understand, this isn't just a small update, it is a fundamental shift in how computers handle graphics and AI.
The big idea behind Blackwell is something they call neural rendering. So instead of using raw power to calculate every single pixel, every ray of light, which is the old way, Blackwell uses AI models to intelligently guess and generate images. This lets them create movie-quality, photorealistic graphics at speeds that were just, well, they were totally unimaginable before this.
And this new architecture is just packed with firepower. We're talking about things like DLSS4, which uses AI to create extra frames out of thin air for super smooth gameplay. You've got next-gen Tensor and RT cores, which are basically specialized hardware just for AI math and realistic lighting. It's all managed by its own AI processor and fueled by the fastest memory you can buy. But the real game changer here, the thing we really need to look at, is these new AI-powered neural shaders.
So what on earth is a neural shader? Okay, traditionally, developers had to write pages and pages of super complex code just to simulate how light bounces off a wooden table or a metal surface. It was computationally brutal. Neural shaders just flipped that whole idea on its head. Instead of writing all that code, developers now just train an AI model to get pretty much the same result. And here's the key. It is way, way more efficient, which is what makes hyperrealism in real time actually possible.
You know, revolutionary tech like Blackwell doesn't just pop out of thin air. It's the result of a very unique company culture, and that culture comes directly from its co-founder and CEO, Jensen Huang.
This quote, man, it gets right to the heart of Jensen Huang's whole leadership philosophy. It actually comes from his first job as a busboy, and it's created this culture of being hands-on, of humility, even as the company has just exploded in size. He really believes that leadership is about serving your team.
And his philosophy leads to a management style that, well, it looks nothing like a typical CEO's. I mean, managing 50 to 60 people directly, that is almost unheard of. But he does it to keep the company flat, so information moves quickly. He hates private one-on-ones. He'd rather give feedback in a group so that everybody can learn from it. It's an intense, super transparent, and incredibly fast-paced way to run a company.
The whole point of this flat management and open feedback system is to speed up one thing, a concept from military strategy called the OODA loop. Observe, orient, decide, and act. It's a constant cycle. So instead of these rigid 5-year plans, NVIDIA is always in a state of continuous planning. He gets raw data from those weekly emails, analyzes it, decides what to do openly, and then they act. And if they're wrong, they pivot instantly. That agility, that speed, is their secret weapon.
Of course, when you're playing at this level, you're gonna have a target on your back. So, let's take a look at where NVIDIA stands in the wider market.
Wow, this chart really says it all, doesn't it?
As of 2025, NVIDIA holds an estimated 80% of the entire AI chip market. This is what total dominance looks like. But having that big of a slice of the pie makes you a huge target, and the competition is definitely heating up from all sides.
The threats really come from three different directions. You've got your direct rivals, AMD and Intel, who are racing to catch up. Then you have the hyperscalers, think Amazon, Google, and Microsoft. And this is a really crucial point. These companies are NVIDIA's biggest customers, but they're also building their own custom chips to cut costs and rely less on NVIDIA. That could really eat into NVIDIA's market share. And finally, you've got geopolitics with trade restrictions creating a lot of uncertainty.
Now, if we zoom into the consumer and gaming world, the fight with AMD is super fierce. NVIDIA's latest cards, they still have a clear lead in the premium features, like ray tracing and their AI upscaling, DLSS. But AMD comes in very aggressive on price, offering a fantastic bang for your buck. So for you, the consumer, it often just comes down to, do you want the absolute best features, or do you want the best value?
But despite all that competition, just get a load of these projections. Analysts think their revenue is going to more than double between 2024 and 2026, and then maybe triple again by 2030. That kind of staggering growth is being fueled almost entirely by the world's bottomless appetite for AI chips in data centers.
So you combine this revolutionary tech, this totally unconventional leadership, and this dominant position in the market. What's the real takeaway here? What is the core of what NVIDIA is today?
The key takeaway is this. You have to stop thinking of NVIDIA as just a chip company. They've evolved way beyond that. Jensen Huang himself calls the company a learning machine. It's an organization that's built from the ground up to just observe, adapt, and innovate faster than anyone else on the planet.
And it all creates this brilliant self-reinforcing cycle. You can call it the NVIDIA flywheel. The visionary leadership creates that unconventional, fast culture. That culture produces groundbreaking tech, like Blackwell. That tech gives them market dominance, which then pulls in all the money and the smartest people to fuel the next big innovation. See how it works? Each part just makes the others stronger.
Which leaves all of us with one final, fascinating question. NVIDIA successfully built the picks and shovels for the great AI gold rush. They built the very engine of this revolution. So now that they're firmly in the driver's seat, where is that engine gonna take all of us next?